This video will show you how to replace your dash lights on all P1 Volvos. Mine is a V50, but it applies to any Volvo with this kind of dash. So if your dash looks like this, you're good. The tools you'll need are tweezers, a Phillips screwdriver, a T25 screwdriver, the replacement LEDs, which are PLCC-2 surface mount LEDs, color of your choice, solder, and a soldering iron. You'll pull your steering wheel down and back to give you better access to your gauge cluster. You'll undo the two T25 screws holding your bezel in, one on the right and one on the left. And then you're going to pull down on the top of your bezel and up on the bottom and in on the sides, and it should pop right out and come out between your steering wheel and your dash. Make sure that you don't lose any of these little yellow clips. They're easy to lose inside of your dash. You're going to get your T25, and you're going to take out the screws on the right and left of your gauge cluster. And you'll push up. There's only one clip on the back. You'll push up and slide it out. Then you'll be able to unplug your security wire. Undo the two alligator clips to the right of that security wire. That should pull right off. And then unplug your gauge cluster connector in the back. And you'll take your Phillips and undo the two screws on the top of your gauge cluster. Then you'll undo the 4 clips on the top, and then there's 2 on the sides and 2 on the bottom. After you've undone these clips, the plastic shield should come right off. Then very carefully remove the needles. Be very careful not to spin the motors on the inside, otherwise you will uncalibrate your gauges. Then take your Phillips and undo the 8 screws on the back of your gauge cluster. After you remove these, it should come right off. Next, you'll undo these 4 screws holding your circuit board into the housing. And when you undo these, it should come right out of the housing easily. One thing to note is there are 2 felt washers, and they might stick to your selectors or the inside of the housing. So make sure that you keep track of those. These are the 6 LEDs that you're going to be replacing that light up your gauges. Remember to clean and tin your tip. And these LEDs have a notch on the negative side. The stock LEDs have a notch on the negative side. And you'll want to confirm which side your negative is on the new LEDs. All you have to do is melt one connection, pull the LED up, and then do the same on the other side, and the LED will come right off your circuit board. Remember to note which direction the LED is facing. These are directional, and you'll have to make sure the negative is still on the negative side after you unsolder them. So unsolder one by one each LED. And remember to keep the same orientation. My new LEDs have the same notch on the negative side, so I made sure they had the same orientation. To prepare the surface, you're going to add a little bit of solder to the left and right connectors. And then you'll be able to place the new LED in and melt the connections together to either bar sides of the LED. Make sure that the LEDs are firmly attached, and repeat this process for all 6 LEDs. After you've done so, you can plug in your circuit board into your car. Don't forget to plug in your security connection. And then turn your key on and confirm that all 6 LEDs are illuminated. If they are not all illuminated, it means they are probably either faulty or you have the wrong orientation. Unplug everything and reassemble your gauge cluster. Remember to put on your felt O-rings. And then place your circuit board back into your housing. Place the 4 Phillips screws back. Then replace your back with the 8 screws holding it in. We're to clean your gauges and blow it off. Get all the dust out of there. Then replace your needles. Be very careful to not spin the motors, and place them all at 0, as this is what it should be at startup. And to confirm that everything is in the correct position, now plug in your gauge cluster and your security bit. Then place your gauge cluster inside. Turn on your car and confirm that all the gauges are in the position that they should be. If your car is cold, the temperature should be at 0, RPM should be normal. Gas gauge should be at 0 on startup, and then go to the correct position. My speedometer was off, it was below 0, so all you have to do is turn off the car, take out the needle, and put it back at 0. So there you can see my car's been warmed up, and all the gauges are in the proper position. I'm going to drive a little bit to make sure that the speedometer is working correctly. And it goes up according to the speed that I'm driving, and it goes back down to 0, so they're good. Make sure that you clean the inside of your plastic cover and place that back on, making sure that you secure all 8 clips. Then replace your 2 Phillips screws. Clean the outside. Then place it back. Replace both alligator clips and your security connection. And don't forget the white clip in the back. And you should be able to slide that back in, push it up and down to get that back clip in, and then replace your T25 screws on either side. Then replace your bezel, should pop firmly into place, and then your 2 T25 bits. Now your dash should be properly illuminated. You are done.